Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says it is imperative Ghana consolidate all efforts to ensure effective use and distribution of the digital spectrum as government pursues its vision of Ghana beyond aid. According to Dr. Bawumia, the communication space must minimize You see the problem now. That's JoyNews for you. Thank you very much. Now we shall proceed. Provide certainty in licensing and reduce compliance costs in deploying the most cost-effective technologies. He was speaking at a meeting with the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications.
Let us use this meeting to identify the way forward in ensuring alignment with Section 2.1 of the above policy, which states that, and I quote, licensing and regulation shall be technologically neutral to encourage economically efficient and innovative market development. A finite roadmap is vital in supporting our market players and allowing flexibility, minimizing distortions from historic regulatory models, providing certainty in licensing, reducing compliance costs, and allowing licensees to deploy the most efficient and cost-effective network technologies. I'm looking forward to the presentations from our international consultants and partners, just as important contributions from local experts who have the benefits of our context. Lessons and meaningful benchmarks from elsewhere should help us move forward on the goals and principles I have outlined, as well as emphasize other areas for consideration. The fact is, Ghana is in a globally competitive environment. So what happens here cannot really be shut off completely from what is happening elsewhere. We are all part of the whole.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive of Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Kenneth Ashigbe, has disclosed that a joint task force from the telcos and the GRA is to embark on an aggressive sensitization drive to educate the public on tax identification number usage.
Looking at the budget that was read, government committed to the TIN project, and so we formed a task force of members from the GRA, and I'm sure Ministry of Finance might be added to it, and then the telcos to be able to see how we deal with this TIN thing, especially as it has to do with even mobile money and all of that. How do we help to be able to facilitate that? And that's what the telecommunications sector is. It's the rails over which a lot of these things are going to happen. And not only are we going to do that, but we're also grateful to His Excellency the Vice President for this conversation about people to government payments being digital. And so this same task force, again, would work to make sure that this would happen. And it's important to also note that in terms of contribution to this business, the telecom sector has been doing a lot. Our 2017 contribution to government, taxes, levies, and all of that, we'll be publishing a detail of that in the coming weeks. 1.8 billion is what the contributions are. So it's not as if we're just asking for the resources that we require to use for ourselves, but it generates a lot of income. And this is just direct payments that we're making. If you then want to consider the other businesses that are riding on these rails, that are generating other revenues, the jobs that are being created, opportunity for Ghana to jump the developmental divide, which is a digital divide, the ability to be able to attain Ghana beyond aid, it's going to be on the back of this. And for us, we're happy that the Vice President helped us convene this, and we're hoping that he would help us again convene another discussion among stakeholders so that we can look at the recommendations that are coming to this, take local expertise, take Ghanaian businesses sitting around to see how we help move this forward, because definitely 5G is going to come.
How are you feeling as a news anchor?
Well, it's been an exciting edition of News Desk with me, Emmanuel Asigri, CEO of the National Youth Authority.
And with me, Sister Sandy, you know, I really want to say this in our local dialect. Ja, but we didn't better so. Rough. It's I was about anything me Mexican soon, sir. So thank you very much for joining us. And what are your last words? Do you want a hug?
Well, I will take a hug, but before that, I just want to congratulate the farmers of Ghana.
Yeah.
And then indicate that the interventions government is putting in place is to help us as a country have food security. And I hope that what is required of us as citizens and farmers alike, we will do to be able to enhance the fortunes of this country as a whole.
That's more news on myjoyonline.com. Thanks for joining us.